Hey, what's up addicts? I'm Eric Swanson from Eric Swanson Outdoors. Welcome to Addicted Fishing. Today I'm going to be talking about plunking for salmon on a big river system. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is how to choose the right spot to plunk. You want to plunk out a spot where the fish are narrowed down, and that happens on ledges, on points, on little rises. You don't want to plunk somewhere where it's a big flat open area because the fish could be anywhere. You want to choose a spot where the fish are going to be really narrowed in so you have the best chances of catching more fish. So after we've chosen our location to plunk from, our next step is to place our rod holder. When you're placing your rod holder, you want to put it about 8 or 10 inches deep in the sand, deeper if possible, and about 6 or 7 feet up the bank from the water. It's important while plunking to have the right rod, reel, and line combination. I prefer the Okuma Guide Select Classic in a 10'6", a cold water reel with a line counter, and 50-pound braid. The reason you want to use a longer rod is the setup we have here is super long and it's much easier to cast when you have a longer rod. Alrighty guys, so now let's talk about the setup I'm using here. So I have my main line coming down to an 8mm bead, and this is going to stop the dual lock snap on my leader that's going to be connected to my killer fish. I'll go into that in a second. Going down from this, I have a barrel swivel to 3 feet of 50-pound mono to a bead chain with a snap swivel. You want to make sure that snap swivel is small enough to where it doesn't slide over the bead. What this does is it allows the spin and glow, when you cast it, to spin 360 degrees and not get snagged up on something. Down from that, I have 20 inches of 20-pound mono to my size 2 spin and glow and size 3/0 hook. Going down from this setup is 24 inches of 50-pound mono to my bottom spin and glow with a spreader bar. I like to use pyramid weights because they stay on the bottom and they don't roll around. This next spin and glow is on 20 inches of 20-pound mono down to another size 2 spin and glow and another 3/0 hook. The next thing we want to do, guys, is bait our spin and glows up with some millennial coon shrimp. When you're choosing the right size coon shrimp to go on your spin and glows, you want to make sure and use one that isn't too small but isn't too big. If your spin and glow is a size 2, you want to go with about a medium-sized coon shrimp. The way I like to put these on there is I like to put the hook through the back as deep through the meat as you can and really gently come right out through that head. And what that does is it connects the meat of the tail to the head section. We'll do that to the next bottom one here. Right through the meat. Really gently out through that head section. And these millennial coon shrimp, really nice and firm, stay like that for quite a while. When you guys are out here plunking, it's really important to time the time of day you're out here to the outgoing tide. When you cast everything out there, you're not in a boat trolling, you're fixed on the bank, so you need that outgoing tide to make sure that your spin and glows are working properly. The next thing we want to do is cast everything out there. So when you cast this whole setup out there, you want to do a long, slow lobbing cast versus a short, snappy cast. If you do a real sharp, short cast, you're going to tangle everything up and possibly rip your coon shrimp off. Once you have it all out there and you could see that your spin and glows didn't get tangled up, you didn't see your coon shrimp go flying, go ahead and stick your rod in your rod holder. And the next step is getting our Brad's killer fish wrapped up and slid down the line. So the next step in the process, guys, is wrapping our Brad's killer fish KF14 with a sardine fillet. So what you want to do with your Gerber blade, fillet your sardine like you would a salmon, just like so. And it's really important that you get this fillet nice and centered. So what I like to do is once I have the fillet, kind of picture a nice straight line Slide on there like so. Then now it's time to determine the size of piece for our KF14. So for the KF14, I usually do about a 2-finger size piece of bait. So you can lay your 2 fingers on there, kind of determine how big you want it. Take your knife and cut it like so. When we're plunking a 3-rig setup like this with 2 spinning glows and a killer fish, you're only allowed to use 3 hooks. So you have to take that belly hook off of the killer fish. Any other time when we're wrapping a plug, you'd want to split the middle of this and create like a pair of pants and then wrap around that belly hook. But since we don't have a belly hook, you don't have to do that. What I like to do is then next, take our piece. Always make sure it's nice and centered on there. Take our stretchy thread, start wrapping. And when I first start wrapping, the first couple wraps, I do lightly, so that way I can make adjustments if I need to. It's really important, guys, to get this piece nice and centered on there, or else the killer fish won't work properly. And I always do a couple extra right at the top, so when that current's pushing on the top part of that fillet, that it doesn't rip it off. You don't need to do too many wraps, but just enough to keep that bait on there. Then I'll do 2 or 3 half hitches to secure it. That is a perfectly wrapped killer fish. So the next step is to slide our killer fish down the line. The way I like to do this is take the killer fish, toss it up and over your main line, grab it, pull it down like so, and then attach this dual lock snap to your main line. Make sure to always close it, and then this will slide down and stop at that top bead above our spinning gloves. Now what we want to do is slide our killer fish down the line. Try and slide it down there as far as you can by hand. And then what you guys want to do is walk upstream, and you can see that killer fish starting to catch current. Then you can shake your rod, and it helps catch that current, and it'll take that killer fish straight down to your bead. Once you feel like the killer fish is down to the bead, the next step is to put it in your rod holder and put the bell on it. All right, guys, so after we put our bell on, it's really important to adjust your drag, because you don't want to have a fish pin your rod and have too tight of a drag and snap it off, or you don't want too light of a drag and have a fish just be taking line and not getting hooked up. Alrighty guys, so that's how you properly plunk for salmon on a big river system like this. If you like the video, please subscribe, drop a comment, let us know what you guys want to see in the future. See you guys on the river.